when I say I cannot keep anything down, I mean I cannot keep anything down.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Black Birth Stories podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Woodus. Each week, we amplify the voices of Black women and our unique birthing experiences, creating an environment for learning, for healing, and for empowerment. Be sure and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube so that you don't miss an episode. Can you take us back to the moment when you found out you were pregnant? What thoughts and emotions came rushing in?
Oh my. Well, it was the strangest thing in the world. I found out I was pregnant. I woke up in the morning, brushing my teeth, and I started throwing up. I'm like, okay, something is wrong. There's nothing wrong with me. So I just believed, well, it must be that I'm pregnant. So I told my husband, I said, I must be pregnant. He said, why did you think so? I said, because went to the bathroom trying to brush my teeth and I started throwing up. Well, that was a journey that never ended. For the next 20 weeks, it was not morning sickness. It was day, night, evening, every day sickness for the first 20 weeks.
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough.
Before I got pregnant, my husband actually bought a book for me about pregnancy, since we planned that we were going to get pregnant like right away. So I started reading the book. So I was following the book, what to experience, what is going to be. They actually said, well, the book is not like 100%, but at least it will prepare your mind on what to expect. So I read that book and I was reading the book every day. It starts from the time you first find out that you got pregnant, what to expect. Then the next week, what to expect. The only difference was nowhere was it written in the book that I was going to have hyperemesis for 20 weeks.
Take us into the second trimester. Were there any concerns, challenges, joys, that you experienced? Yeah.
I didn't really have, at that point, second trimester was, like I said, the first 20 weeks. So it cut into my second trimester. So it wasn't happy. I was happy, but I was just miserable with everything. I'm thinking in my head, okay, this is what's the trouble, but at the same time, God help me. Do I want to do this again? So preparing and trying to get everything ready, shopping for the baby, and all that was the joy of going through that hyperemesis time. It took my mind off the trouble that I was going through.
These are the worst mistakes Black women can make when choosing an OBGYN, assuming they'll automatically prioritize your safety, ignoring the signs when they dismiss your concerns, and not having a plan to advocate for yourself. Sis, I've been there, and that's why I'm so glad I found the Mocha Maternity Survival Guide, Choosing the Right OBGYN. This guide gave me everything I needed to avoid those mistakes, from conversation starters to tools for assessing their care. It's the ultimate roadmap to make sure you're seen, heard, and protected. Don't take chances with your health. Get your copy today and make the choice that could change everything.
Hyperemesis is tough. And let's talk a little bit about that. So hyperemesis gravidarum is the medical term for basically intractable nausea vomiting during pregnancy. A lot of times it's experienced because of how high the pregnancy hormone is, especially in the first trimester when it's rising as your pregnancy is growing and developing. And for whatever reason, some people are just very, very sensitive to the change in hormone, and it triggers this intractable or uncontrollable nausea vomiting. And it can be absolutely miserable. There are some good treatments for it. There are lifestyle changes that people can make. Sometimes we'll talk about staying hydrated, eating small, frequent meals, avoiding things that might be triggers like fried foods or spicy foods. There are prescribed medications and over-the-counter medications you can take for it. Some of the more conservative options outside of lifestyle changes are things like your B6, B12 vitamins. They can be very helpful. There are over-the-counter medicines like Unisom, and then prescribed medicines like Diclegis, which is going to lean heavily into your B6 vitamins, Zofran, and Phenergan. But, obviously you should consult with your healthcare provider if you're experiencing anything like that. We know that there are some risk factors for some moms who are experiencing hyperemesis. So for example, very young moms can sometimes experience hyperemesis first-time pregnancies. There are even studies that look at people's socioeconomic situations where we look at moms who maybe don't have the social support, the community. Single moms a lot of times can also experience and be at risk for experiencing hyperemesis. So there is both a physical, like a medical component to this condition, and as well as a psychological component. So most moms are, deal with that if they have that experience. It's in the first trimester, but there are, just like you experienced, a certain subset of moms that can experience this beyond the first trimester, even well into the second and third trimester.
When I say I cannot keep anything down, I mean I cannot keep anything down. I actually lost like over 10 pounds and starting I was weighing 115. And I went from 115 to like, I think over 90 something pounds. So I look like I cannot keep anything down. And crackers was just my best friend. If anytime I feel like I just bite into it. So that was very, very challenging for me in the beginning. And the only time I can tell you that I was empowered was the joy that I know I'm going through this now. It's not going to last forever, because I'm one person that it doesn't matter what situation I find myself, I always know that there is an end to it. And the end for me is going to be having a beautiful baby girl, handsome baby boy, but something is coming out of all this miserable time at this point in time.
It sounds like you relied on your faith and trusting that trouble don't last always. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Do me a favor and share this episode with a mama who you know would benefit from the learning and the healing and the empowerment that happens each and every week on the Black Birth Stories podcast.
Want to go deeper? The conversation doesn't have to stop here. Join Melanin Maternity, our digital Black birth community, where you'll get expert guidance, real support, and a sisterhood that sees you. From live Q&As with birth experts to empowering discussions with other Black mamas, we've got you covered. Click the link in the description and step into the community you deserve.